Hello and good afternoon, all. Got a story coming out of D.C. that once again proves the left, the Democrats, hate the United States and wants to destroy history. They want to rename anything that has a white man's name on it. All our monuments taken out of D.C. because it's not contemporary. Now, before I get to the story, could you all help me out by hitting the like button and subscribing? It will help me out with YouTube's algorithms. Now on to the story. Jordan Como, demands DC mayor immediately suspend proposal to rename, relocate, or remove monuments in DC. Yeah, that's how far the leftists went. House Republicans on Friday demanded that DC Mayor Muriel Bowser immediately suspend the radical proposal from the city organization to rename, relocate, and potentially remove monuments in the nation's capital. The District of Columbia facilitates and Communicative Expression (DC Faces) working group created by Bowser issued a report last month recommending that DC government make changes to the DC historical monuments and memorials to reflect the contemporary DC values. In a letter to Bell on Friday, first obtained by Fox News, top Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee, Representative Jim Jordan, Republican of Ohio, and top Republican on the House Oversight Committee, Representative James Comer, Republican, Kentucky, said they were shocked and appalled that Washington, D.C., the seat of government for our great nation and named for our first president, would seek to erase the legacy of our nation's founders and trivialize their contributions to the American experience. You must immediately suspend this dangerous attempt at revising American history and desecrating the memory of our nation's presidents, war heroes, and visionaries. Jordan Comer wrote, bravo. Yes. The two GOP lawmakers called the recommendations from the city panel radical. The working group wants federal government to move, relocate, and contextualize 8 different monuments and memorials located on federal property. Well, this absurd recommendation targets monuments and memorials of George Washington, President Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, and other American heroes. They added these monuments are in place to represent American values and heritage, not simply to reflect your notion of contemporary DC values. Yes, recommendations they're recommending their removal, location, or contextualizing is nothing short of an attempt to rewrite history of our country, they continue. In July, Basel tasked the DC Faces Working Group with evaluating named DC government owned facilities and make recommendations as to what, if any, actions need to be taken if the person of the facility is named for is inconsistent with DC values and in some way because the oppressions of African Americans and other communities of color or contribute to our long history of bullshit. This is racism. Bowser tasked the working group with reviewing DC government owned streets, libraries, schools, uh, recreational centers, parks, statues, and DC government owned parks and other named public places. No, you should not have any say about public places. It should be everyone, not just a group of people in DC. The working group in its report also recommended naming nearly 2 dozen public schools in DC named after prominent Americans, including Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, 5 different U.S. presidents, Francis Scott Key, the author of the national anthem, among others. The working group report commissioned at your behest is a disappointing waste of taxpayers' dollars, they wrote. The District of Columbia government is a creation of and subordinate to the United States Congress, and the district receives significant portion of its budget from the federal grants and federal payments. They added, the district is not merely a city in the United States, it's our nation's capital. city and is to be held in trust by the federal government for the benefit of all Americans now and in the future. Jordan and Comer urged Bowser to refrain from wasting taxpayers' dollars on misadventure and historical revisionism meant to replace a radical far left wing activist. He went on to, to reference what they call the left wing violence and destruction in the streets amid months of protests and unrest. The restoration of order of the district streets should be our paramount concern, not rewriting history to fit the far left wing political agenda. In June, Bowser helped name an area north of the D.C. of the White House, Black Lives Matter Plaza, in remembrance to Floyd, but protesters graffitied the streets with the defund police slogan, and it's since been removed. Yeah, this is just bullshit. So you think whose side are you on? The far left that wants to destroy our history, or the Republicans that wants to keep it? There's your two choices. There's no middle ground now. You either want history or you hate history. Let me know down below. Also, if you made it this far, could y'all hit the like button and subscribe? And as always, be good, have fun, stay safe. Bye bye.